Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott McKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
Hey there, and welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast. So glad that you are here. Thank you very much for joining. My name is Scott McKenzie, and you know that this platform, this Industrial Talk platform, is dedicated to you. We're all about action. The industrial professional, the companies that get it done. You are bold, you're brave, you dare greatly, you innovate. That's what you guys are all about, and that's what we celebrate here on the Industrial Talk Podcast. But we're all about action. Don't get me wrong. We want to move that ball forward. We've got a great interview today. We're talking about sales, marketing, and branding again, but this is all under the guise of Operation Phoenix. You're going to get some more details, so stay tuned right now. Let's get going. Yeah, I can't talk enough about Operation Phoenix. I'm hashtagging it. You get the picture. You know what you're talking about. That bird, that phoenix coming out of the ashes. You know, we can plan today because it's going to be a post-virus world, and we're depending on you, the industrial companies, the professionals, to get this economy back up and roaring again. It's a big responsibility, but I know that you can do it. So let's talk a little bit about Operation Phoenix. One. So I'm sitting there, and I've been having a lot of conversations with a number of companies, and they're saying, hey, Scott, what do we do? What do we do? What strategies can we deploy today and in preparation for tomorrow? And I just said, you know what? We've got this Industrial Talk platform. Let's just offer it out there to come up with solutions for you, the professionals and the companies. Now, this is the way it works. I created I'm looking over here, 5 boxes. And it starts with sales and marketing and branding, and we're going to highlight individuals, specifically top of their game individuals that are going to help us with tactical action strategies on the sales, marketing, and branding that we can apply today. That's one. What's happening financially? This is the second bucket. What's happening financially out there? Meaning, what things are available for us as small business, big business? How do we get our businesses back up and running? We need capital. That's what the finance is about. We're going to talk only about how do we do it? Action, boom, get it going. We're talking about human capital. This is the third bucket. Human capital because we've got a disconnected workforce. It's all over the place. How do we stay connected? How do we continue our business continuity? How do we try to do the best we can going forward and beyond the virus? We've got a couple of great professionals that are going to talk a lot about that. And then the fourth bucket is operations. You got to keep that operations moving forward, all of the good stuff that you guys are doing, manufacturing, important stuff, and keeping that asset up and healthy. And then finally, the technologies that you can leverage today so that you can be better tomorrow. And we're going to highlight the great conversations of people who are leveraging technology and what you can do today. Once again, that's the action stack. Now, it doesn't come without commitment by companies because there's just a group of companies that I've reached out to saying, hey, my listenership is looking at this and we're struggling with that maybe, and you're not going to do it alone. Mark my words. You're going to need help. And we're all going to have to work together. And that is going forward. And that starts today. Should have started yesterday or even about a week ago. But nonetheless, it starts today. If you haven't done it, let's make it happen. So the companies that have committed to Operation Phoenix, and it is expanding, and you can participate as long as you contribute. As long as you say, hey, this is what we're doing. I'm here to help whatever listenership and the communities that are a part of these companies as well. So, join in. The water's nice and warm and toasty right now. So the companies that exist today is the Industrial Internet Consortium. They are just the thought leader in all things, Industry 4.0, digitization, digital twin, you name it. They're all out there, and they got the best minds thinking through all of the challenges. They've committed. IoT Solutions World Congress, they're brought on by Farah Barcelona, and of course Spain is getting hammered, but they're participating as well. Mobius Institute, leaders in reliability. The Electric Power Reliability Alliance, that's EPRA commitment. CAP Logistics, They're a leader in all things logistics. And Sun Acquisitions, Worker Being, Safeopedia out of Canada. Can you believe that? And Women in the Boardroom. And Sheila Ronnie, shout out to her because she does a fabulous job. All of these organizations have committed to being able to provide individuals that could speak on those particular topics, then promote on their networks and promote on the digital platforms that all exist out there. It's all about getting that message out. It's all about hearing from the professionals and bringing it in and then getting that information out to as many people as possible, and they have committed to it. They are spectacular givers and innovators and just other focus. They're phenomenal. Now, our first series in this Operation Phoenix is, of course, sales, marketing, and branding. We're going to be highlighting two professionals. One, Marcus Chan, Venli Consulting. He is phenomenal. Absolutely a phenomenal professional. Look him up out there, man. He's passionate about sales, marketing, and branding and bringing in tremendous revenue and strategies and actions, as well as Alleyne. Now, you're going to say, wow, Alleyne. He's got a great accent. That's what it is. And he is spectacular as well. Go look out on their Stack Card and LinkedIn. Reach out to them. And Alleyne is Alleyne. I think that's right. Let's just make sure. Let's validate that because I do not want you to go away without Alleyne. Got it. Alleyne. Anyway, we're going to be talking about tactical strategies in light of our Operation Phoenix project. And again, I do not want you to go away and not thinking that, it's already going and you can't. You got to reach out to industrialtalk.com. Reach out to me. Participate. The water is all wonderful and warm and cozy. You can join. We need to get your message out. We need to be able to promote and help other people succeed. That's what you bring to the table. Make it happen. And because of Marcus and Alex on this episode, you'll see. They're fantastic. I'm broadcasting from my backyard because I can. And we're going to be talking about not just today, but we're going to continue to go forward. It's a series, and you need to participate in it. So, once again, Marcus Chan, Alleyne, they're first up on Operation Phoenix on the Industrial Talk podcast. Enjoy. All right, you Industrial Talk listeners, thank you very much for joining the Industrial Talk podcast. We have an incredible duo, sales spectacular, I guess, with Alex and Marcus. How are you guys doing today?
We're great, man.
I love it. I'm telling you right now, this is what Operation. See, I told you, Marcus. This is what Operation Phoenix is all about, and you're going to hear more about it. You listeners out there, we're going to talk a little bit about Operation Phoenix. You get the picture. So what we're going to do, this is where we're going with this particular conversation. We're going to have a number of series associated with sales, marketing, branding, and these two bring the truth bombs all the time. So we're going to start out. We're going to talk a little bit about the top 6 things industrial companies need to consider and think about, especially now and on into the future, because there's going to be a post-virus type of situation. We know it is going to happen. So just let's be prepared. So anyway, Marcus, give us a little background on who you are, and then we're just going to go right in. And then Alex, you're going to be the same thing. We're going to talk a little bit about your background, and then we're going to get into work.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Excited to be part of Operation Phoenix here. So I'm Marcus Shannon. I'm the founder and president of Venli Consulting Group. Prior to this, I was in the corporate America for 14 plus years, actually in an industrial environment, selling B2B services, leading large teams, tons of fun. So I've seen all types of environments. Obviously, this is a unique one, given the mix of everything, the culmination of everything.
I'm telling you right now, nobody prepared for a pandemic in their business continuity strategy. I'm telling you that right now.
That was not part of their 10-year plan. So that's totally fine, though, right? That's totally fine. That's why we're here, right? So
that's right.
First strategies, and it may seem super simple, is the first thing you want to do is assess your cash flow and see how long can you survive. That's the first thing you must do, right? Working in different businesses, I've seen it already. Many are jumping to cutting costs and going through reduction of forces immediately, right? Without properly taking a step back first. And what's really critical here is when you're assessing your cash flow and you're looking ahead, you want to see how long can you survive. What are the essential expenses, right, that you have to keep the business running optimally, right? Not making short-term emotional decisions. And what I mean by that, mistake some people make is, it's like you have a car driving down the road. If you sell off the tires, you can't drive anymore. So it may seem to make sense now, but it may not make sense in the long term. So think about this. Before we go through a RIF, reduction in force, what can you do to assess how long can you survive for, right? And that may mean you need to chase some capital, right? And obviously right now in the United States, they're putting forth a stimulus package, there's small business loans. What can you do to secure some funding first so you can survive for longer, right? Before you make big cuts, choose the right things you must keep in place to keep the business running. That's the first thing you must do.
Let me ask you this. There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of concern out there, specifically with, okay, I understand the cash flow. I understand, but the challenge is the cash flow is stopped in a sense. And I would imagine people are thinking about, okay, this whole market has dead stop. What does it look like in the future? If I try to hang on as long as I can, will I be able to in the future get back up and run in a strong way? And you're absolutely right. I mean, I've seen a lot of companies, and I've talked to a lot of companies that have just boom, gone, letting people go, and there's an emotional component there. So I like the fact that you got to really at least think about that cash flow and do an assessment.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you got to do it, you know? I
think the key is, first, I mean, you got to slow down. And obviously, it's hard if you are the business owner, or if you are the top of the top in your organization, it's really, you want to take a step back and really think to yourself, okay, right? Like, let's pull the emotion out. Do I need to bounce some ideas off somebody else that can give me some clarity to the situation, right? And then really take a look, like even if you do get a loan or you get some cash flow from an outside source, are you willing to put forth the hard work? Because realistically, most businesses, it's going to take 2-3 years minimum to bounce back to levels they were before. Minimum, right?
Wow,
so they have to eventually understand that. Like, are you willing to push through and deal with the toughest and challenges of what's going to happen, right? And that's really, really important, because that's the first piece. I mean, if you're a business owner, it's a passion project, right? If you will, right? Like, there's going to be tough times or years where you make $0, right? But can you survive for that long, right? So you got to pull the emotion out, right? And are you in it for the long run? That's an important piece to understand there.
I like that. Okay, Alex, you got I mean, that's some great stuff brought to us by Marcus. You got I hate to follow Marcus. Just FYI.
It's not a competition.
It doesn't look like, that's just awful. Okay, go ahead, Alex. Bring the truth bombs here. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then let's get going on number 2.
Well, Scott, it's great to be on. Thank you so much. As is probably clear from the accent, my name's Alleyne, all the way from the UK, and I am a founder of a company called Growth IQ. We work with companies to provide sales expertise on a pay-per-hour model, and I've been in the sales game for almost 10 years now, again, across various different industries, from photocopiers and you name it. So really excited to be on. I think the first thing that companies need to think about in the industrial sector, and I'm going to use a football analogy, I guess, is that you need to play offense instead of defense right now.
Oh, I like that.
And what we're seeing is a lot of companies shelling up, looking inwardly, and not actually thinking about how they can go out to the market. And the reality is you need to go out to market, you need to curate interest and have a daily cadence with that outreach. It's not the time to start to shell in and implode and actually think about how you can go on the retreat. And actually, while everyone else is doing that, it provides an even better opportunity for you to go out, capitalize, and leverage technology to be able to make better use of that. And we can talk about that more as we go on.
Yeah, we will. Tell us a little bit about it. I mean, there's a lot of fear out there, Alex. I mean, come on. You know as well as I do, there's a lot of fear. How do you get, what type of sort of words of encouragement that you can provide as a result of, hey, you got to keep doing offense. You got to keep pushing. You can't, retract, because you're going to put yourself in a worse position. How do you encourage a business to keep soldiering on and pushing?
Well, this is, for many companies right now, it's about survival. And I think Marcus touched on a number of great points around actually, taking a step back, assessing the scene and assessing the state. And you've got to sometimes step back and think about, what was why in the first place? You know, why did I get started? You know, what was it all about? What was that driving and innate factor that made me want to start this business? And where did I want to take it? What was the vision? And the reality is you need to reconnect with that. But not only that, you need to get your team reconnected to that mission and that vision, right? You need to find people excited again, you know.
Excellent recommendation. Find out your why. Continue, not find out, just revisit your why, your vision, and get your team back in. I mean, you know as well as I do, business just starts running. You just keep on going, and you do forget your why. You do forget your vision. You just go through the motion. Correct. This is a great time to sort of level set and do that. I think that's a great recommendation. I like that a lot, Alex. All right, man, Marcus. He brought. I mean, I think I like listening to him. No, just kidding.
I know his accent is way more charming too, right?
It is. It is really like, is. Wow, that's so cool. He's great. And before I forget, and to your point, Marcus, about assessing the cash flow, financials, possible financial options, Operation Phoenix is going to highlight some individuals that truly have their fingers on the pulse of what's taking place from the bill, what's really real, and what's possible for small businesses in the industrial space. And because you can imagine, just like anything else, there's just a ton of information out there that's just absolutely wrong. So we're going to be pulling in individuals that can help with that cash, you know. Okay, go ahead. Number 3, let's talk a little bit about 3.
And I think I want to add a little bit to what Alex mentioned too, because I think this what ties into it, right? And if anyone's out there ever seen the movie The Martian with Matt Damon, he like goes to Mars, etc. He's like stuck out there, right? And at the very end, he's doing a big, you know, keynote speech, or he's teaching a student something, right? And he talks about when he's up there, right? Like he doesn't know when he'll come back home. He doesn't know he'll ever make it, right? He's growing like potatoes out there, right? He's doing crazy things. But what he talks about is when he's up there, you know, he can only go day by day, and he solves one problem at a time. And the reality is if he continues to solve problems, if he solves enough problems, eventually he'll get to come home.
Yeah.
And if you think about in today's environment right now, all it is about solving problems. If you solve today's problem, it'll let you go after another problem tomorrow. And if you continue to solve enough problems, eventually your business will be thriving again. And it's a matter of solving enough problems, right? So it's having an understanding and mindset. That's how you persevere and push through. So,
and if you have that mindset, this is a big elephant, and you're just taking one bite at a time on the elephant. I was talking to a gentleman on defect elimination, specifically in an industrial environment. And you could say, oh, God, you know, where do I start? You just start one problem at a time and solve. And that's exactly because it could be overwhelming. No doubt about it. It could be miserably overwhelming.
100%,
I like that.
Right? And the mistake a lot of times
I like that.
Many business owners, many professionals, they go inwards, right?
Oh, yeah.
When they should go outwards, like Alex mentioned, right? So it should be increasing the outreach, going after new customers and prospects, right? It simply means you may need to create a whole new market, okay?
Yes.
Right? Like if suddenly all your business is shrunk, it means you did not prepare to expand the market and the pie. You only prepare yourself for one type of business. So you got to expand the business, right? And you definitely should increase the outreach. But another simple tip, this is my second tip, is you need to extend yourself outside of your own zone and just reach out to your current existing clients and customers, but do it from the heart, right? Do it from the heart. No focus on selling, right? Purely on relationships and caring.
Yes.
Checking in, see how are they doing. And by doing so, a couple things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to be like, okay, wow, you know what? Like they're dealing with it too, but you know what? Now you have a connection and bond. And because you're not out there just trying to sell to them, you're just trying to connect with them, it'll connect you guys even closer, right? And once you guys weather the storm together, I guarantee you they'll be coming to you first once their needs increase again, once they have cash flow, once all those things happen.
I love it. You're spot on, because we're all in this boat together. This is 100% impacting everybody. And many might have some answers, but not everybody has all the answers. And the only solution or direction is you've got to, once again, reach out to your existing customer base or somebody else and say, I need help, or I'll help you. And and do it from the heart.
Right. And what's crazy about this is when you do that, right? First off, you'll feel more connected. You'll feel better automatically, right? You'll get some connection, some empathy, etc.
Oh yeah.
You also get future business. That's a guarantee. But what you also may get is innovation. And what I mean by that is by talking to your customers and uncovering their needs, you may now see, wow, you know what? They may give you some feedback. Say, hey, listen, what you're doing when you were doing X before, it was pretty good, but I've always wished that this would happen. Oh, now that's a potential innovation for your business or product or service you're offering that you can either change right now to serve them or change for the future to serve them in a different audience. So what happens with a collaboration can create new ideas to get you out of your own head.
It's a great point, Marcus. And just something to add is that sometimes we forget the fact that people buy from people, right? Right. And it's very easy to become mechanic and stale in our approach and very systematized, just kind of, shoving products and features down people's throats. But people do buy from people. And creating that sense of connectedness, you can do that, of course, in person, on the phone, but also through technology and leveraging social, for example, to try and create an experience where people still feel connected and actually that sense of empathy kind of comes through, because we are in challenging times. But as you said, Scott, we're all in it together, right?
Well, we are.
Showing some appreciation, but can still solving problems and delivering value.
And if you're watching us on the video, you can tell that I've just taken Alex's recommendation, and now I have my command central out of my backyard, creating an experience. How about that? You guys are in those boring offices. Look at me, living the dream, baby, living the dream. No, those are absolutely spot on.
Yes. And I mean, it kind of ties me on to my second point, which is to work towards becoming a thought leader within your space, sector, or within whatever it is, whatever sector you operate in within the industrial. And to be a bit more specific about that, one of the things to focus on is how do you create this environment where demand comes to you? We're in tough times, and what you've got to think about is, how do you create this perception, this environment, this experience where actually people say, hey, when I'm thinking about that product, that service, or that solution, I'm coming right to you. I'm coming right to that person because these guys are the ones that are going to get it done. And I don't see enough organizations being intentional about creating that kind of environment. And what it might look like is just creating content, whether you need to start a blog, whether you need to start communicating better with your audience to show yourself as a leader within the space. And it's amazing how when you become intentional about that, you build a connected audience, actually you start to create demand that, as I say, find its way to you. If you combine that with the mindset of playing offense, what you see is that you've got this ecosystem where there's stuff coming in while you continue to fire on all cylinders with your outbound. You can see how that pieces together.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And again, to Marcus's position of the heart, you're in that desire to create the content, in that desire, there's help in there. It's like, hey, I'm here to help. This is what I'm thinking. It's yours. Here, take it. And then create that goodwill of being able to provide that valuable content and hope. I mean, now is the time. And I like the fact that you're talking about offense, push, do that and be committed to becoming that thought leader and focusing it. You're absolutely, and it's hard. Listeners out there, I know it's hard. It's challenging to do that, but you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to press yourself and press into the situation and move forward. And so I like that, Alex. Very good. Do you have any additions to that, Marcus?
Yeah, and I love it. And Alex is 100% spot on, right? And I totally get it. Where some people, if you were not already having that type of content creation mindset of the social marketing, social selling marketing, it can be very uncomfortable, right? Right, it can be very uncomfortable, right?
Like getting on a video and talking on a podcast. How's that?
Right. But the reality is the businesses who are thriving are the ones who are adapting, right? And when you think about in our last recession that we had in 2007, 2009, the companies that survived were the ones who adapted the most, right? And you think about, like the Blockbuster that did not adapt, right? But Netflix adapted, right? They went from mailing DVDs, that was their first business model, right? Which sounds crazy, to now it is like the number one place people go to watch and binge watch TV series during this time frame. Right
By the way, we just started watching Disney Plus.
See,
it's
they're adapting.
awesome.
They're adapting, right?
Yeah,
Disney
it's like
adapting as a result.
It's like, oh anyway, okay, that's a whole nother conversation. But you're absolutely right.
My point, you gotta adapt, right? And if it's uncomfortable, it probably means you should do it. It probably means you must do if it's uncomfortable, right? Because I think about right now, it's like, I know with Alex's business, my business, like our business are growing and thriving because we focus so much attention on that piece. Like I'm still getting leads every day. I'm still getting requests for consultation. I'm still getting people wanting help because they understand to get out of the hole, you got to spend some cash to get cash, right? That's just what happens.
You
right?
You do.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this: is there there's adapt? You can adapt, or you will adapt. But is there a component of speed to adapt? Right? You can't. I believe you guys are the experts. I can't believe that I will adapt, but there is a sense of urgency and speed to do it. And I find people tend to, well, I might fail, I might make mistakes, or and those are like bad words.
Right.
But I mean, it's a perfect time to do these things and make mistakes because everybody's like, well, okay, go ahead.
Right, because the reality is if you do nothing, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. Even if you do quote unquote social selling wrong, if you do nothing, nothing happens.
That's
you do
exactly
something, right. There's going to be a reaction.
Yeah.
That's just what happens, right? So it's I mean, at the end of the day, like you cannot go paralyzed, have analysis paralysis. You got to move, right? Which goes into my third point, which is very simple, which is really huddle your department heads or team and just brainstorm together, right? Virtually, obviously, to be safe, right? How can we serve our customers and be of value to thrive in the next decade? So not today, not even tomorrow, but for the next decade, what do we need to do, right? Do we need to do some customer surveys? You add the bullet point 2 of connecting to the customers, asking for some feedback. Well, what can you do to thrive in the next decade? Because reality is what you want to invest into now is what are the things that are going to help you 5-10 years down the road? Because we're going to get through this. I guarantee we'll get through this.
We are, and I have the thought. I believe that we need to look at all our business processes, our policies, our business model, and take a real look at each of the components of your business, and just really have a real conversation about: is it necessary? Can we streamline? Can we leverage technology? Can we create some resiliency within the model? If a pandemic happens again, what do we do? Now is the time. Now is the effort. You're absolutely correct. I agree.
And if you think about this, right, that's where the top businesses continue to thrive, right? So you think about it, like doing business online for some people, that's just normal, right? Yeah. But for other, and that's been around for a long time, right? So if businesses have now adapted to this model already, that means they haven't made changes to try to find ways to thrive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, I'll give you an example, right? So, I have a friend, he's a CEO of a cannabis distributor, right? Yeah. And retail stores have been shut down essentially, right? They're closed, right? So they unfortunately had to furlough all those employees, right? And retail sales about 25% of the business, 75% online. So they're just doubling down online sales.
Oh, there you go. Right.
They're 50% year over year for last month, right? Like because online sales have exploded because they had done a good job preparing for the future, right? Obviously, they did not predict this, but they put things in place to survive, right? Essentially, multiple streams of income, if you will. And if you want to survive the next decade, it's okay if you don't have the answer. That's totally fine. But you probably have some smart people on your team, people that you can work with, mentors, etc., that can help you see around the corner for your business.
There's some great points coming out here. Sorry if I nosedive, but there's some awesome points coming out. And I think one of the things that's interesting, we've spoken a lot about cash flow and people having a standing start, maybe thinking about that. All of the points that have come up so far are free to start. And the biggest thing is actually making a start in the first place. So
love it.
I often say, don't chase perfection, chase good enough, right? Don't allow yourself to get to a point where you're trying to perfect your social media strategy or your tech strategy to an extent where you don't get started. Start, get feedback, learn, grow, and adapt, right? Go through that process. And, you know, my third point is actually leverage technology and social. And we touched on it so much, but, you know, this is the way I see social and often tech in many ways is having a billboard that's up all the time that you don't need to pay for in many ways. The only cost or charge is time. That's the only investment, right? If you're willing to put the time in, it's just like having a billboard that's constantly up or free TV. So why would you not use it as a channel to broadcast your product, your services, or your approach? So leverage it. But the key thing is take the first step on the ladder, stop chasing perfection, put all excuses out the window and just invest some time and get your team excited about the same thing.
I'm telling you, that chase for perfection is crippling people to go forward. It just is. And you're not going to be perfect. I mean, it's just not. And just sort of accept that. And you might stutter and you might not spell a word right, but nobody cares. They're looking for help. They're looking for solutions. They're looking for action in some way, shape, or form. Alex, you're spot on.
There you go. And, you know, I often look back, even, you know, Marcus and I, we've both gone through time publishing a ton of content on LinkedIn. And I'm sure Marcus would agree that if we looked at an article we did a year ago versus one we did today, they are completely different things, right? They're different beasts, because what we did is we started, the community came back and say, hey, Marcus and Alex, I love this that you're doing. I don't like this bit so much. Some of it was rigged with spelling mistakes. Right. But, you know, over time it gets better. But it's community and customer driven. So that's kind of one of the biggest messages I want to deliver to.
So in light of what you just said there, Alex, I remember I just said, I'm going to be doing the podcast. I got to do podcasts. And so I went down this road of doing podcasts. And then, of course, I researched getting the mic, getting the mixer, getting the camera, getting all this stuff. And then I realized, I said, well, I guess I got to do one, right? And if I go back, I can't even listen to the ones that are the first ones out of the box. But people still downloading, and I want to apologize. It's like, hey, I saw that you downloaded my first one, and I apologize right off the bat. But you just do it, and I think people are very gracious, and they know you're trying, and so they're very forgiving. They're very understanding about the whole thing. So it's to your point. I mean, and yours too, Marcus. You just got to move forward. Now, when we start talking about technology, and I have to follow up here, Alex, are there specific platforms that you sort of recommend to help with this sort of social requirement?
Yeah, it's an interesting, right, because we've spoken a lot about outreach, having a cadence, and I also have this saying that what you can't measure, you can't manage. And so when it comes to your outreach, you need to be actually measuring your activity. You know, how many messages are going out? How many, you know, how much reach are you getting when you total up all of your social? So to actually go to your question of, are there tools and platforms? There's a lot of them out there. And what I wouldn't want to say is that any one is better than another. But what I would say is that almost all of them offer free trials. And just with a very simple search of either a CRM system or a social management platform, you will see many different ones. And what I'd recommend is just pick the top 3 or pick 3, download the free trials and just get a feel for them. I find that different companies have their own preferences, but start to measure your activity so you can double down on what's being successful and, of course, rein back where you're not seeing so much success.
And that's good. And to the listeners out there, and I'm the poster child specifically for technology. When I went went through this journey, I was concerned that I couldn't handle the technology. I was concerned that I didn't know what to do, any of that. But I believe today, more so than ever, that technology is at a point where it's very user-friendly. It's very intuitive. And you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I got to, code something or whatever. It's It's just that easy. Even a website, same thing. It's like, okay, great. You can do they've made it so intuitive that even you can do it and invest that time, energy, and effort. And you've got a 24/7 billboard. And then you get that content out there. And if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No big deal. Nobody's going to die. You just do it. And just double down on the stuff that works. Ask your customer, hey, I'm doing this. I'd like to be able to promote you. Are you good with this? You can have that conversation. You can have that dialogue.
I want to make one point on, just quickly turn right over to you, Marcus, is just on consistency as well, because Marcus has made some great points around looking at the long term and looking at the long game. And it's very easy when it comes to social and tech to say, hey, let's do this. You're firing on all cylinders for a couple of weeks, and then you say, hey, I'm not getting what I need out of this.
Boom.
Let me tail it off. You've got to plan ahead. And as Marcus has touched on, you've got to be playing the long game here. This is not a sprint. It is a marathon. It starts with that first step, but you've got to be prepared to be consistent with the output, do it over time, and I guarantee the results will come. Sorry, Marcus, go ahead.
No, boom. That is spot on. You're absolutely, and it's so easy to just sit there and go, all right, I've done it, and then just disappear. And it's the same thing with podcasting. Once you start, you can't stop. You got to just keep going. Go ahead, Marcus. Sorry.
No, and that's perfect, right? Because it wasn't that. It's really important to apply the law of refinement here, right? And what the law of refinement really is if you think about this, out there in the industrial world, whatever you did before, maybe you say, for example, you manufactured, bolts that fit into a specific type of desk chair, whatever, right? And your first version that you made, the prototype, is but then you started to refine it, right? And you got feedback, and you refined it, and you brought more customers on, and you refined it more, and then maybe you have multiple product lines, right? And over time, you may have forgotten what got you here 10 years later was a lot of refining of the basics of starting, right? And when you look at using social selling, a platform technology, when you first start it, it's not going to work well the way you want it to, but you refine it, right? You put out your first video post, your first blog post, your first podcast, or whatever you put out there, it's going to be terrible. And that's totally fine. But then you refine it.
It is.
Refine over time, and you continue to refine, right? Like I continue to refine mine, right? So at the end, understand a lot of refinement gets you to become better, right? It's not being comfortable with where you're at, but it's always looking, hey, how can I make it a little bit of a tweak to make it a little better for my audience, for my customers? And by doing that, by applying that, you'll see massive success in any technology you pick up.
And you know what, this is always fascinating to me, and this is sort of a subset of what you're talking about. And you're saying to yourself, listeners out there, this is a lot for me to do. I can't learn it. I mean, there are books out there. It's all out there for you to pick and choose. You can find information and say, I want to try to do X. And I guarantee you type that into Google, you're going to find recommendations and suggestions all day long and say, hey, remember to do it this way. Maybe don't do it this way. There's tons of content out there from people who have, just like you two, have lived through it and are willing to share your wisdom. It's out there. There's no excuse, quite frankly. There's no excuse. No, I not.
There's no shortage. That's 100% true, Scott. And, something that we got to remember is that customers and people love a story. They love a journey, right? And we've spoken a lot about empathy and feeling connected. You'll be amazed at actually how many of your customers just want to be a part of that story and journey, right? I've got so many people that from my very first blog to now will message and say, hey, Alex, it's amazing when I look at, the evolution that I've seen in your platform, your story and your journey. And maybe now is the time that they actually want to buy into some services or things that I offer because they've seen that. And so I think that's a powerful concept, right? Just think about your journey. What do you want that story to look like? And how can you make your customers a part of that? And I'm sure it's no different as you touched on with your podcast, right, Scott? If you think of day one versus now, right? But you've got people on the story, the journey, and I'm sure you have conversations about that as well.
All the time. Absolutely. You can't help it. It's like if somebody talks to me and said, Scott, I don't know if I can. I said, hey, you can. Don't come to me and say you can't because I did it, and that excuse doesn't exist because it just doesn't. It's going to fall on deaf ears big time. Absolutely spot on. You guys are just out. Hey, do you guys have a topic for the next time we connect? Or am I catching you guys off guard?
Anything you want, anything the audience wants, let us know. We'll talk and discuss it. Yeah.
Hey, that is a great point. We're creating a landing page specific to we're still in the throes of putting it together, but the real power and the benefits associated with that is, hey, submit your doggone questions. If there is something that is on your mind, challenge us on trying to get an answer that open book. We're all here in this boat together, and we're just focused on, providing solutions and hope for you guys. How's that? That good?
I think that's perfect, right?
Operation Phoenix, baby.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think the thing to think about is for the listeners out there, we're your mastermind group, right?
Yeah.
We're your mastermind group, right? We can help bounce some ideas off. So this way, at the end of the day, we mentioned this so early on in today's talk, if you're in this on your own island by yourself, it's very hard to solve the problem. You get some other ideas, some thoughts around it, and make you some perspective, and that might be all that you need to take that first step to start taking your business to the next level and push this together.
And I just want to reiterate is, the point again, all of the 6 points that we've revealed today are free. So now it becomes a choice, right? It's a choice. You can listen to what you're doing now, even pause it if you want and say, hey, I'm about to get going. I'm ready to rock, or you can just let it, blow over. But the reality is all it's going to take is a little bit of time. Take the advice, take the tips, give them a try. Let us know how you're getting on, and we'd love to soundboard the ideas. And as Marcus touched on, refine.
Okay. Listeners out there, we're going to continue the series on another time, hopefully more than just a week. I'm going to pressure these guys to get on more than they probably want to. However, we're going to do it nonetheless. I'm pretty persuasive. Anyway, listeners, stay tuned. We're going to wrap it up on the other side. I'm going to make sure that you have all the information on industrialtalk.com, all the contact information to reach out to these two gents. Anything else that we can possibly fit in there, it'll all be out on industrialtalk.com. And just stay tuned, because this was gold. Look at me. I'm a better person because I've connected with you two.
Appreciate it.
I'd be a better person if I was where you were, though. I'll tell you.
It is quite luxurious, isn't it? Well, thank you guys. Have a wonderful afternoon, and you have a wonderful evening there, Alex. Thank you very much again for joining the Industrial Talk podcast. We're gonna. Hey, you guys hang tight, because we're gonna be able to wrap it up on the other side. So thank you again. Talk to you in a few.
Take care.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
All right, you need to remember these two gentlemen. That is Marcus Chan with Venli Consulting and Alex Alleyne with Growth IQ. It is always exciting and just there's a lot of energy associated with these two, and they're passionate about what they're doing, and they're passionate about you and your success. Let's make Operation Phoenix a success for everybody. Let's get this economy back up and running. Listen to these guys. And you know what? We're going to have more. They're coming back on. We're going to just keep on pumping you with great content. Okay. One of the big beefs that I have, just listen to me, it's not a big deal, is that, okay, we've got these digital platforms, and we just sit there and look at it. But what I would like to challenge you, and this is what we talked about, challenge you to get engaged. Reach out, forward, respond, be actively engaged out on these platforms, because they're powerful. They're powerful right now. You got to do that. So anyway, I challenge you to do that. I'm going to do it. And I see some people that are constantly out there just sharing. It's a shout out to a gentleman by the name of Paul Turner. I see his stuff all the time. Anyway, be bold, be brave, dare greatly, change the world. Operation Phoenix. We're going to keep on bringing you the truth bombs. We're all going to be action. Take care. Stay away from that virus, and we'll talk again later.